Hi, I'm Doug from Skyhunt, and I'm going to be showing how to set up the TubularBot software today. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to set up the bootloader for the Arduino board. So we're going to just go to this link here. It should take us online. And we're going to download the Arduino software. So we're going to choose this Windows installer for 1.0.5. So just wait for that to download. Okay. So we'll install the USB driver. Completed. Okay. So we'll just make sure that we've got an icon. There we go. So we've got Arduino installed on our computer. Okay, so now we'll connect our printer to the USB connection. And you see it's founded now, Arduino Mega 2560 on COM 8, which is ready to use. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to download and install these two programs. The first is Pronterface. If you just click on this link, it will take you to the site, and you choose a particular version that suits your computer. So probably chose this version. So whichever one is the most up-to-date, you just unzip it and install it, and you should be good to go. Then you can also install Slicer, which is from this location, and install the latest version. And we've done that already, so we've got the two programs right here, ready to go. So if we click on Pronterface first, it brings up this window. And this is the control window for the printer. So we already know that we're on COM 8 right there. So we want to set it to 250,000 as the baud rate, and just click connect, and you can see that it found the printer and everything's good, and there's no SD card in it right now. So if we look at the printer, we've got everything going there. We've got the LCD running, Pronterface is connected to it, so we should be ready to actually test the motors to make sure that everything runs. So one of the first tests that we can do is we go back to Pronterface, and we just do a test to see if we can move the X and Y axes. So I'm just going to do that by clicking on these labels here. And we're going to turn the power supply on first. For the main ATX2 power supply, and then we should be able to get it to move. And you can see here, as I click on the button for -X, it goes in this direction, which tells you that your motor is connected properly. If it went in the opposite direction, then it'd be going the wrong way. If I click on +X, the motor should go back this way. If I click on +Y, then the printer should go back like that. So the head is going forward from its original start position. If I go on -X, it should go back. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that our set screw here is aligned with the end stop for the Z, so that when it gets and clicks on this button, it's going to be approximately at the height of the glass, or maybe slightly above it. And the way we do that is we just estimate what it's going to be and give it a bit of room so it doesn't hit the glass. And then we're going to hit the home button here on the Pronterface console, and you'll see that it'll then bring the extruder and the hot end to the correct position, like that. And it'll just do some sensing and self-adjusting before it finally stops at its best position over the bed. So there it is. It's now in the corner, which is a 0, 0, 0 position. So it'll start from here and then go out to the center when it does its build. And of course, we also want to make sure that the bed is level. So we do that beforehand to make sure that everything's been leveled up in the different directions. So we're good to go. And one thing that you commonly want to do before you do a print is you want to make sure that the hot end nozzle is about 1 paper width away from the bed. And what is convenient to do is just take a piece of paper that you've cut to size, and you can just slide it under the head and just make sure that it goes under. And what I often do is I will maneuver the head out in the X and Y axis and just test it in different places just to make sure that it's about 1 paper width from the surface. So we can just move the head using Pronterface, moving it like 1 centimeter at a time, and then we can just put the piece of paper underneath. It should go under with just a little bit of resistance. If it's a bit hard going under, you can just adjust the screw here. In this case, we'll adjust it down a little bit just to give us a little more room. Then what I often do is I just hit the home button on Pronterface to bring it back to the start position, and then do it again just to make sure that it's in the position we want. So like 1 to 2 of the paper widths is usually the best. If it's closer, you're going to get better adhesion, but it's going to be a bit harder to get it off. If it's further away, it'll be easier to get it off, but you run the risk of maybe getting some warping. So that's the trade-offs. So here now we can get the paper underneath. Still pretty good, so I think we're good. We're set to go. So when we're ready to build a file, let's say we've got a .stl file that we've got off Thingiverse or from some other place, or let's say it's the example file that you've gotten with the printer. First thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take the .stl file and open in Slicer. So we'll just click on Slicer. And then you can just drag your file into the open window. And this file is actually for the filament holder ring, which is right up here on the end of this filament holder spool. So this is a little ring that we designed on Tinkercad. And we'll just look at the parameters that we're going to use in Slicer. So we're going to choose a layer height of 0.2, perimeters of 3, solid layers. This is the number of solid layers that you're going to have before any hollow sections. So in this case we've got it set to 3. Our fill density is going to be 50%, and we've chosen here honeycomb, but we can do it, or rectilinear, but we can do honeycomb, let's say. We could change this fill density to 0.25 if we wanted to. So, whoops. Other parameters important are our speed. So we've got this set right now at 75 for the perimeters, 100 for the infill, and 100 for the travel. We could do like 130 for the travel. It gives you the defaults, but some of these you can do faster or slower if you want. One thing that's handy is to do a brim. This helps keep your part pulled down onto the bed. So I often do a brim of about 4 millimeters. For the filament settings, we've got a filament diameter of 3 millimeters. That's very important because it should always be set to 3. The extruder temperature, we're going to do 225. You can do up to 230, 235 for ABS. The bed temperature, I would say we should start at 110 and then maybe drop down to 108, something like that. For our printer settings, the bed size should be 200 by 200. The print setter should be 95 by 95. And we're using the RepRap Marlin Sprinter flavor for the G code. Nozzle diameter is 0.4 millimeters. That's important to have in there. And for the end G code, I think this is important to turn off the temperature of the bed at the end and home the X and Y axis and disable the motors. So it's good to have those lines in there. So once that's set up, we can just go export G code. We'll put it to our desktop. And now we've got the G code already here. So Pronterface is already open. So we can then just load our file. It'll pop it up right here, and it'll tell you how long it's going to take to print it. So in this case, it's 29 minutes. And then when we're ready to go, we just hit print file. And then what's going to happen is the printer will then start the temperature on the bed. In this case, now we've got it set to 112 degrees, so it'll count up to that temperature. And then once it's got to that temperature, then it's going to set the extruder temperature up to the starting, which I think we said was 225. Once all that's ready to go, then it'll just start printing, and it'll do our print. So that's basically the setup for doing a print. Now the printer has reached its bed temperature of 112 in this case, and you can see now that the temperature of the hot end is going up, and it's just about to start as soon as it reaches the correct temperature. We've set it the hot end right now for 235 to start.